All right. Thank you very much, guys, for waiting here. And my name's Matt, and I'm from Perth Observatory. So I'm going to take my headphones off because I can hear myself in my headphones, which is really annoying, and we haven't sorted that issue out just yet. But it tends to be that the best live streams happen to be where there's always a little bit of an issue here. All right. So
Boy,
if you guys can't hear us, please let us know in the chat there. If you guys have any questions and you're not on the Discord channel, there is the link to the Discord channel in the description of this video as well. And so if this is your first time that you're actually seeing this, well, welcome. My name's Matt, and I'm from Perth Observatory. Normally we have Roger here as well with me doing this, but this is a very special virtual star party because tonight we all should have actually been down at Curtin University doing Astrofest and entertaining 5,000 people, but unfortunately, due to issues of that second lockdown, there was certain things that we couldn't just, we needed to get done within that week, and we just decided that we would postpone it till later in the month. So it will be held on November 13th. Now, while we're all doing all this lovely intro talk, what I'll do is I'll introduce you to everyone. We've got Roger Groom, who's not only a volunteer from Perth Observatory, but also has Astrophotography Australia and also Astro Observatories WA. And we've got Carol down below here. Carol has Stargazers Club WA and also is promoting astro tourism in Western Australia as well with Astro Tourism WA. And the dark, moody look in the bottom right is Riley, who helps Carol and is also part of AGWA, the Astronomical Group of West Australia. Hey, guys. How are you all going?
And Matt, we should give an honorary mention.
Pardon?
We should give an honorary mention to
yes.
Ken was going to be here, but
yes.
Ken got blown away. So Ken lives up in Geraldton, and the Midwest with those horizontal trees. Yeah, it's fantastic for wind. And today he got blown away and couldn't set up his telescope. So we were down one from the start.
Yep. So it was all working well in testing on Thursday. And when we've come to do the actual live thing, it's all gone to hell. So, all right. So, Roger, before we just get started, did you want to have a mention about what you do?
Sure. Okay. Well, Astrophotography Australia and Astro Observatories Western Australia. So, Astrophotography Australia, I host workshops and do astrophotography. And this year, as per last year, I've been curating the Astrofest Astrophotography exhibition. Just briefly, a little bit about that exhibition. We sort of always planned that the exhibition would go ahead regardless of COVID situation for the actual main Astrofest event. And certainly the prints have been printed, and awards are all ready to go and so on. And we've just been trying to work out a replacement actual event for announcing those winners. So the exhibition schedule for the Astrofest Astrophotography exhibition is still in place, and it will be starting its first exhibition at John Curtin Gallery on the 24th of February, and it'll be there until mid-March. And during that time, we'll have a awards event for the entrants. And then after that, it's traveling actually to some Astro Tourism WA towns after that. So maybe if I hand over to Carol, and Carol could just mention the couple of places it's going to and a little bit about Astro Tourism WA.
Thanks so much, Roger. Yeah, Matt, it's really great to be joining you guys on the live stream for Astrofest virtual star party. I love it. It is disappointing not down on the oval at Curtin, but this is the next best thing. And well, we've got November will come around pretty soon. No, looking forward to having hosting the Astrofest Astrophotography exhibition around one of the previous exhibitions, the Lake Grace, which is terrific, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, up to Jury Bay and Takana. And they're all really special spots on the Astro WA map. We're linking towns together across countryside WA, promoting beautiful dark places for visitors to go and see, you know, and enjoy the Milky Way and stargazing, or to take cameras and practice astrophotography, and of course get more entries in the astrophotography competition in future years. It's been really terrific, and yeah, looking forward to hosting that exhibition out in those towns for sure. You can hop on anytime to the astrotourismwa.com.au website, and you'll find a map. There's all of the towns there. They're actually all backing original light pollution to make sure our skies are really dark. Thanks, Matt. Oh, yes, I'd certainly love Stargazers Club WA. It's a club for beginners, so what I really enjoy doing is connect people to the night sky and introducing people of all ages, all levels to, you know, stargazing, running telescope workshops, teaching people who are in astrophotography. It's a really cool community, and I've loved seeing it grow over the last 6 or 7 years now. And yeah, Riley works with me and helps out through our telescope classes, and also takes trips out to the country with Roger to teach people astrophotography for beginners too. That's a really, really cool cool community, cool club for beginners, where it's a lovely friendly sphere, and anyone can join in if you're interested in getting into the hobby of astronomy.
Thank you for having me, Matt. So yeah, I'm here on behalf of AGWA. It's the Amateur Astronomy Group of Western Australia. Mostly Western Australia. All in a Facebook group, helping each other out, telescope tips and tricks, or anything astrophotography. But we do have monthly meetups towards the start of the month down at Bino Central in Joondalup. So those are held at the start of each month.
We're going to be looking at Roger's wide field view from his observatory in the central wheat belt. That looks really cool, Roger. Roger?
Yeah, look, it's a nice night. We've got a what is it? Almost half moon up there. Turn around, and look. Yeah, got about a half moon up there, and so the foreground is quite lit up by the moon. That's all just natural lighting from the moon, but you can hopefully see there on the live view. I'm doing 20-second exposures here, and you can see Eta Carina, the nice pink patch up the top there, which we'll hopefully have a look at, technology permitting, later on, and Southern Pleiades, the Coal Sack, Southern Cross in the centre there, and the pointers down the bottom here with the nice Milky Way going through.
You just lost me there. There it is, back in. Yeah,
Still
so
got
you
me
can
there,
see
Matt?
Yeah, I've got it. It was on my end there, but yeah, you can see the Emu there, and you can see the Carina Nebula, and also the Southern Cross. That's a really nice area there.
Yeah, it is, and you're right. You've got the start of the Emu coming up from the ground there. It's not very high yet, but got the head and the top part of the body. But yeah, it is a nice view tonight. Tonight we've got perfectly clear conditions, a gentle breeze, got about a 5 km/h occasional breeze coming through. It's about 25 degrees, so balmy night out here. It would have been perfect for Astrofest, but such is life that we aren't doing it. But yeah, that's the view which I've got there at the moment, wide field.
Yes. Oh, and you've also got a little. Was that a satellite in there? Just down the
We've
bottom.
got a
plane.
aeroplane going across the bottom at the moment. I've had quite a few satellites come through, which is quite common for this time of night. Sorry. Actually, up the top, then small Magellanic Cloud there. We've got a satellite at the moment, but we've had some pretty bright ones come through. Yeah, it is really quite nice. Actually, something which I'm going to do a little bit later on maybe is put a little diffuser filter in front of this view and just emphasize the stars a little bit, and it'll look nice. But I'm going to have this view going all night, so we'll see how it goes. We're still, what are we? We're just past late twilight, I think, so we should be getting to proper dark.
All right. So, do we want to go with your 47 Takana, or should we go with Riley's moon? How would you?
If Riley's got the moon there, we can stick to the playbook, Matt.
All right, cool. All right, so here we have. We don't have. Here we go. Quickly. This is again on the fly. Okay. Here we go. Moon. Come on. Moon.
Have we got the moon,
there
Matt?
It is. There it is. All right. That's a lovely
fantastic.
First
Glad we haven't lost it.
Mind you, yeah. Well, actually, for the tides and everything like that, yeah, we do need it.
Absolutely.
So, does that look like the man on the moon, Riley?
Not currently. You'd need a bit more of the moon to be able to see that face that we're all so familiar with. You've got actually kind of an upside down rabbit shape here, which I believe it was in various cultures around the world, mostly Eastern Asian, represents a jade rabbit, mixing a bowl of some description depending on which culture you're looking into. So we've got the rabbit here, but we don't get to see the full face of the man in the moon tonight, I'm afraid.
Yeah, just a little bit. Needs a little bit more time. And we've got the lovely Terminator line as well.
Yeah, just along here, this Terminator line always has the most lunar surface detail across any point in the moon. That's just because that's effectively, a lunar sunrise. If you were standing there, the sun would appear very, very low to the horizon. So any shadows that are cast would be very long. That consequently makes any surface features that we see along the Terminator really pop and super visible, particularly down to the bottom left here, where we can see lots of craterage.
Yep, nice.
From a photography perspective, I'll just drop in there and say that it is a really nice phase of moon to photograph tonight, because you've got that nice shadow detail across the terminator, and it's a nice wide sort of shadow line there. And I know with when we do workshops with Stargazers Club, with Carol's group, people do love the simplicity of photographing the moon and get a real buzz out of getting a nice sharp image of the moon like that.
Yeah.
If we were at Astrofest, I know we were planning on having live images of the moon there, and people would have got to see the moon through a telescope. But it's a good one to start with for people with backyard telescopes as well.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it always impresses the kids as well. And Carol, let's show exactly where it is in the sky. We've got your Stellarium right there.
A really fun thing to do is here it is here. And the moon's a great thing to try and take a photograph of using your mobile phone with the eyepiece of a telescope too. I think we were planning to do that at Astrofest as well. But yeah, so this is, I'll show you where it is in the night sky. This is a program called Stellarium. It's a free program you can download. It's really wonderful, and on each side here you have all the different things. This one up here is the date and time window, showing you today's and the time, and what's in the night sky. So, and here's the moon here. It's really interesting tonight. Actually, it's quite beautiful outside, because you can see right above the moon is a giant red star called Aldebaran, and then Mars, which is also another red object in the night sky, is down bottom to the left of the moon there, sitting right next to Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. So it's really gorgeous outside. I'm hoping that some of the viewers will be out actually in the backyard having a look and seeing these objects. Yeah, so we're looking sort of in that northwest direction. There we go. And just up a little bit higher is Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice is one of the stars of the constellation of Orion. Hopefully we'll have a look at a bit later on. But Beetlejuice, another supergiant red star. So we've got 3 red-coloured objects, Mars, Aldebaran and Beetlejuice in the night sky, all hanging out, which is great.
Yeah. And you've got like a triangle there with, I think, Capella, Mars, and Beetlejuice there as well. All right. So, Roger, did you want to show 47 Takana?
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the settings on...
Oh. Go ahead. I think we're testing out country internet at the moment.
Where it is in night. I'll show you where it is in the night sky first on Stellarium, if you Matt.
We're still on. You're still on. All right.
Yep. Still on Stellarium?
Yep, we're still on Stellarium. Yep. And this is a good time.
It's the view that we've been looking at with the moon, Mars, and Aldebaran.
It just seems to have dropped out. At the
around to the west and southwest.
Hang on.
And to the south, and if you can see that.
Unfortunately, it seems to have dropped out. Well, the actual... We're doing this from
I'll hand over to Roger then, and he can have a look at the live.
No worries. Okay. Let's go to Roger's computer. At the moment, we're doing multiple locations here. So Well, we've got some good internet here and at Rogers and at Riley's. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that's unfortunately not everywhere in Australia has great super fast internet, unfortunately. So, but thankfully, Elon Musk might be coming to the rescue, because I know I got an email saying the other day that his the Starlink is going to be constellation is going to be setting up. Oh, and there it actually while we're here, we got Stellarium's come back, so I will just quickly show show Stellarium where we're looking at here. So this is the part of the sky that we're looking at, and we're looking just off from the small Magellanic Cloud, which is near Takana there. But this is what happens when you get a telescope on 47 Takana. That is fantastic, Roger. That is a great shot. Oh, hang on. Yep, Roger. Roger. Okay. Hang on, just. Sorry, guys. We're testing a new system at the moment. Let's have a look. Where's Roger's camera? Oh. Roger's gone quiet. Let's have a look. He has gone quiet. Damn it. Why has this done?
Ah, sorry, Matt. there you go. There
was nothing wrong.
There is. You're on mute. All right. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Oh my goodness. Right. Let's talk about 47 Tuck then. I'll repeat what I was saying, Matt. How about that?
That would be fantastic.
All right. So we've got 47 Tuck here. This is taken through my Megres 90. So this is a refractor telescope, which is a 90 millimeter aperture. So it's sort of an aperture of about that. And it's a focal length of about 600 millimeter focal length. So if you imagine, you might have a 100 to 300 millimeter zoom lens with your Canon dish SLR or some such. If you put a doubler on that, that's the kind of focal length which you're talking about here. So quite a large, wide field of view. And I quite like that for objects like this. It gives it not just the object itself, but some perspective of the object in its space, the space around it. And so we've got 47 Takana here, this great big globular cluster. Matt, how many stars? I always forget roughly what's their estimate on how many stars they have in that.
For this one, they think about 1 to 2 million stars. It's about 120 light years across, I think.
Right. Yeah, so you've got the globular cluster in the background there, and then these brighter, more individual stars in the foreground. So you sort of imagine that you're looking through the depth of our Milky Way. You're looking into the distance here and back in time. And so you're seeing some foreground stars, and then behind that is this great big ball of stars, which is 47 Takana. And you will have seen this on other live streams that we've done with the Perth Observatory, because we love showing it, because it is an easy one to see, and it is yeah, nice and bright. I just doing a double take there because I can see that I've got some star duplication happening there, so I'm guessing that the telescope got hit by some wind or something, so I'll just stop and start that. So this I'm just doing 60-second exposures here with a little ZWO camera, and that's about what it is. We'll wait for this next frame to come up and it'll clear up, so we have to wait 60 seconds for the exposure and then to download it.
Yeah. It is a lovely globular cluster. It is the second largest of the 120 so that we have around our Milky Way as well. And I think the biggest one we've actually ever seen is around Andromeda, and it's about 250 light years across, and it's got 20 million stars. The biggest one we've got here the biggest one we've got in the Southern Hemisphere, in both hemispheres, is Omega Centauri, and it's got about 10 million or so, I think.
Right. So I've got one image back here, which has the background has sort of come back brighter, and that's just because it hasn't done a stack yet. So as it takes these exposures, it stacks them together. In astrophotography, we do a lot of stacking where you combine together these individual frames to get a better signal to noise ratio to then be able to process the images better. So as these frames accumulate, currently one, because I reset it there, it'll improve in quality. The only other thing which I mentioned is this fuzzy blob here, which is often in the field of view, or obviously it's always there, but often the field of view is big enough to include it with 47 Takana, a little background galaxy there.
Nice.
I wonder. Go for it, Carol.
I was going to say, there's something Carol, you can see with the naked eye too. So 47 Tuc and also Omega Centauri, which are these beautiful globular clusters, can be seen with the naked eye. You do need a really dark night sky, though, so you do need to get away from bright city lights. And when you're looking south and you see the beautiful Milky Way, and then at the moment, at this time of the year, the Magellanic Clouds to the right of that, or to that slightly to the southwest, and you see these two cloudy type structures, the large Magellanic Cloud and the small Magellanic Cloud, and they just look like two fuzzy blobs in the night sky. And 47 Tuc is it's in the same direction as looking at the small Magellanic Cloud. And when you try and see it, it's good to look at another star slightly to the left or right of the small Magellanic Cloud, and out of your peripheral vision, you'll see this very faint blob, which is 47 Tuc. And yeah, it's fantastic to be able to see it with the naked eye, but you do need that dark sky for sure.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Right, we'll transfer it over here. Ooh, that's nice.
That's all right. You should have a view now.
That's fantastic. So everyone's seeing it now on the screen here. That's a really great shot you've taken. Did you want to talk a little bit about?
I've gone for a similar exposure. Yeah, of course. Can you hear me through my microphone?
Yeah. Yep. You're sounding cool.
Yep. Great. So yeah, I've gone for a similar exposure length to Roger's 47 Takane of 60 seconds or thereabouts, and we're actually looking at a completely different class of object. This, of course, being a nebula. For those who aren't familiar, nebula are enormous clouds of gas and dust, oftentimes leftovers from the death of a star, an event known as a supernova. This one here, the Carina Nebula, is about 200 light years wide from end to end, although the image I've got here isn't quite a long enough exposure to catch just the full scale of how large it is. But this is a nebula that has caught the eye of astronomers for hundreds of years. In particular, there's a bright star towards the core in here, which I'm sure you're able to make out. That's the star known as Eta Carinae. Recently, it's been doing some very interesting things. For example, back in the 1850s, I believe, it had a bit of a hiccup where it swelled in brightness and became the second brightest star in the entire night sky for a period of several months before dimming back down. Stars don't normally do that, and it's a sure sign that the star's actually getting close towards the end of its life cycle. So this is one of the few stars in the night sky that astronomers the world over have constantly got their eyes turned towards, hoping to watch it, well, explode during, well, our nights here.
Yeah, it's like when they say it won't, for the shampoo ads, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen. So
Exactly right. It'll be a process that lasts months to complete. And with this particular star, it has the potential to become so bright that it would be visible during the daytime sky.
Yeah, that will definitely be a daytime object as well. It'll be horrible for nighttime because it's going to cause that area to completely be really bad at looking at because it's going to be like having a full moon right next to it. But it'll look really good eventually.
It will.
With Eta Carina, I really like that if you get a good night on a decent aperture instrument, often we have this at the observatory, Perth Observatory, with the 14-inch and 16-inch meads there. If you get a good night on those, you can quite clearly see the elongation of the lobes around the star of Eta Carina. And I really like that you can see that really intricate piece of what is going on with that star, that sort of story of that star, that it's not just this great big nebula around it, but right there you can see that star ejecting this material.
And it's happens relatively short in our timeline here as well. That's the amazing thing about it, is that this has happened within a couple of generations. It's gone from just a normal star to a massive big star, and it's dulled down a bit, but we've been able to actually record the whole process, and we're still recording what's happening with this star as well. Yeah. All right.
That's right.
We shall go to Roger's. Roger's next up.
Almost, Matt. Almost.
Hey, actually, let's see you go. The handiwork it takes to get to what we're going to be seeing next, because we can see you now moving your telescope. So we're coming up
that's
here,
right.
And it's that anxious wait.
Yeah, I'm scrambling to get the right exposure settings here. Seeing as we're here, let me just check. Yes, I think it is in the right spot there. So we've gone to the Tarantula Nebula, and I'm just going to start a live stack here and start a 60-second exposure. Now I'm going to actually choose not the luminance filter, but I'm going to choose hydrogen alpha. I'm going to do that because it might cut out some of the moonlight and leave us with good nebulosity still there. So for those who aren't aware, cameras for astronomy typically are mono, and you put in front of the camera what filters you want to create to capture the frequencies of light which you want. So often that would be red, green, and blue to make an image which looks like we would expect it to look for our own eyes, visual sort of spectrum. But for astronomy, we often use other filters like hydrogen alpha and oxygen, are quite common ones. And so in this case, I'm going to use hydrogen alpha just to narrow down to the hydrogen alpha part of the spectrum. That cuts out a lot of the rest of the light and leaves what is being emitted from that object in the night sky as hydrogen in that hydrogen alpha band of frequencies. So we'll see how this comes out. We've got almost there, a few seconds left. What are we going to get? Oh, there we go. Okay, let me brighten that up. I forgot how wide my field of view is with this one.
But you get to see the nebulosity around it as well.
You do, yeah. Well, and I can zoom in a little bit here. We'll move this over, and as this accumulates some more exposures, we'll get some more detail in here. But we've got not just the Tarantula Nebula there, but we've got these other knots of nebulosity here. These are all nebulas in the Large Magellanic Cloud. And I suppose, like Carol was saying, with 47 Takana is a good object to view with your naked eye in dark skies. Large Magellanic Cloud, and you can make out the brighter sort of little patch, which is this area, is fantastic for naked eye and binoculars. I think you'd agree, Carol?
Absolutely, yeah. It's even if you've got your binoculars and you're just wandering around this whole area from that Eta Carina to across to the Magellanic Clouds, you can see so much. And it's quite, even, you know, even with, if you've got kids, like just having that chance of discovery, like you never know what you're going to see, and lovely to wander around that area with a pair of binoculars, and very easy to do too.
Yeah, so I've got Stellarium up here, pointing directly at where it is in the night skies. So, what do you like to recommend to people?
Yep,
how people see this, Carol? Just delay, Carol.
Say that again, Matt.
Yep. Oh, I was just saying, how do you what do you recommend people to how to see this? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, look, certainly the Milky Way and the Magellanic Clouds, to really travel away from bright light. So if you live in Perth, definitely leave that metropolitan area. But we're so lucky in Western Australia, you know, we can leave Perth and just for, say, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and you'll be in very good quality dark night skies. We're pretty lucky. Perth is the most isolated capital city on a continent, and so that means basically all of our population in Western Australia, or nearly all of them, all of us live in Perth, and it means we've got this large, vast area with small towns, low population, and currently low levels of artificial light pollution, just purely because our small regional towns have this low light pollution. And so that means we can see the stars and the night sky so much better. It's the light, the artificial light that comes up into the night sky that destroys our view of seeing the stars. And so when you can get out into a dark country night sky, you'll see this beautiful, and I'll just bring Stellarium back a little bit. You'll see this beautiful sweep of it's a cloudy looking structure. And what you're seeing is hundreds of billions of stars. You're looking through the plane of our Milky Way galaxy. And we're, you know, on our way later this year, in about June, July time, we look towards, from Earth, from our perspective on Earth, we look towards the centre of our Milky Way galaxy, and it's amazing. That's where, of course, the centre of the Milky Way galaxy is where most of our stars are, and in winter time, that's where we're looking, and so you get that beautiful, beautiful milky sweep of that stars across. And then, of course, just like now in late summertime, we have the two Magellanic Clouds, and if I come in here a little bit, there's the Large Magellanic Cloud. You can just see it as a little fuzzy blob on the screen there, and coming in a little bit closer, you can see this is that bright area that Roger was talking about with the Tarantula Nebula. And, you know, getting a set of binoculars and having a good look around this southern sky is quite dazzling.
Yep. So there it is. That's where we're looking. And then if we transfer it back to Roger's view, you can see that the actual image is continuing to get better and better and better. That looks fantastic. And it's amazing that thing is about 700 light years across. You know, if you brought that to the same distance as the Orion Nebula, that would take up about 60% of our night sky, and you could actually read a newspaper with the light from it. It always astounds me that little fact. It's pumping out stars like rabbits as well.
Yeah, the image here is getting nice detail now. It's got a little bit of trailing there. I think the wind has knocked it around a little bit like it did with Tarantula, but hey, take what we get. We got clear skies. Hey, that's good.
That's what we like to hear. All right. So Riley, did you want to look at the? Is this the jewel box?
Jewel box cluster, yeah.
Awesome. That looks really good. It's one of my favorites to show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like the traffic lights.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite part about it. Those 3 stars in the middle that unofficially called the traffic lights. But even better, this looks really cool, doesn't it? So, did you want to let us know a little bit about it?
For you there. Yeah, so this is in my personal opinion, one of the best objects the Southern Hemisphere and skies have to show off. The jewel box cluster, it's actually really quite easy to locate as well. This bright star down here to the left is actually the second brightest star in the Southern Cross. It's very, very close by, very easy to find, even just with a point-and-go telescope. But this object here is actually what astronomers refer to as an open cluster. It's a group of really young stars, but the interesting thing about these stars is the fact they're all about the same age, and they're traveling through the universe together in a group. The fact that they're the same age, though, is even more so interesting when we consider that all of these stars are at different stages of their life cycle. For example, this traffic light that Matt mentioned before with the red at the bottom, that red star is closer towards the end of its stellar life than some of its companion stars, just due to how the life cycle of a star goes. Larger stars burn through their fuel quicker, they reach that red giant stage faster, and consequently they go supernova faster. Eventually that star is going to explode, and the group is of course going to drift apart away into the universe. A really good analogy I have heard for these open clusters, in case you're struggling to follow along, is you can think of this kind of object like a boy band. They're a group of young hot stars traveling together, and then one of them blows up early and the group scatters off, never to be heard from again.
Yeah, I like to talk about the boy band, the music bands with stars like red giants, the massive big stars. They live hard, they die young. But they are toddler age stars. So there's no failure to launch here. Those stars will move out of the house once they get to 18. So Carol, did you want to show us where it is in the night sky? Because it's actually pretty easy for people to find it, isn't it?
It is. It's really easy, actually. And even though you can't see it with the naked eye in Perth, you can certainly find the spot in the night sky, if you're in a brightly lit area. And so this area here is the Southern Cross. And I always find the Southern Cross by looking for the 2 pointers. So these 2 bright stars in that south area, always find those first, and they point to the Southern Cross. And there's the Southern Cross there with its 5 stars. There's 4 that make up that diamond, and there's another star there to be the 5th star. And it's probably Australia's best loved constellation. And the jewel box is, and here's the Mimosa, that was that bright star that Riley was referring to. The jewel box is just below this that star called Mimosa. Here it is over here. And when you're looking if you've got a telescope that doesn't have a go-to and not computerized, you're just manually moving it to an object in the night sky. I always remember there are two bright objects or bright starry areas below Mimosa, and it's always the one on the right. So the jewel box is over here, and if we go in a little bit closer, it looks far better on Riley's telescope, I think. Stellarium is a little not too good on its detail once you get in there.
But it's important
But yeah,
because it
so
knows
that's
where it
very
is.
easy to find with a telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So we'll just go back to Riley's view so that you guys can see the amazing star cluster. All right. And all right. And Roger, are you going to be showing us the Orion Nebula next?
Oh, am I? Well, I've got.
Well, if you don't have it, Roger, I'm midway through an exposure for it. It's about to pop up on my screen, actually.
Awesome. Well, actually, Matt, if you cut to my wide field view first, I've decided to, as good as the view was looking south, I've decided to flip the camera around and point north at that horrible thing called the moon and Orion. And boy, does that moon burn out the exposure. I've actually changed this lens. This lens and an f1.4 lens that I'm using for this, I've actually stopped it down to about f3.5 because the 20-second exposures were just blowing out with that moon. But you can see there, the what I would call the saucepan in the center of the image, the constellation of Orion, and the handle of the saucepan, or the Sword of Orion, having that brighter, larger sort of patch in the middle of that there, which is the nebula, which Riley will show us.
Yeah. And just before we show Riley's image, we've got Peter Ginn has asked, how old is 47 Takana? And for 47 Takana is close to the same age as the Milky Way. It's about 12 billion years old. So those stars are really, 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 really old. Yeah. So they've lived a very long lifetime, and there is some speculation that the 47 Takana and maybe even Omega Centauri, but maybe 47 Takana, that they were cores of dwarf galaxies that have been previously eaten by our galaxy, because cannibals are cannibals. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. So, but Riley's showing some really cool stuff here, and we're going to go and have a look. Ooh, that's lovely. You can see that bird shape as well, with the head and the wings. Great job, Riley.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So again, another 60-second exposure here, and the bird shape that Matt's talking about, we've got like a little eye and a beak in front with a massive set of wings out the back here. But this is the Great Orion Nebula. It's that saucepan shape that was mentioned before. This is actually the middle star in the handle of the saucepan, or if you know the constellation, how it's supposed to be known, the middle star in the Sword of Orion's belt. This is actually one of the closest, if not, the closest star-forming region to planet Earth. This object is only about 1,400 light years away from us. So that means the light I've just collected through my telescope, and I've got on the screen here, had been traveling through the cosmos since about the year 620, only to be intercepted by my telescope to show to you guys tonight. I called this a star-forming region. The Hubble Space Telescope took a look at it through infrared and visible light, was able to actually, locate 750 protostars, the beginnings of stars, and around, I think it was 170 of those protostars, there was the beginnings of a protoplanetary disk, which is basically the raw ingredients to form a solar system, a big cloud of dust orbiting around one of these yet-to-form stars. So it's a very, very active place inside our universe, and it's fortunately quite close to us.
Nice. Yeah, it is always, and it always looks good as well. You can go into the centre of the CBD here in Perth, and you can still get a bit of that nebulosity as well. And you can see that overexposed area at the moment. That's hiding the 4 stars of the Trapezium Cluster, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's a tiny little structure buried away in the core of the Orion Nebula, and that's what you're most likely to see with a amateur telescope without a camera attached. You'll be able to make out these 4 stars really close together, and that's the Trapezium Cluster, which lives at the heart of our Orion Nebula.
Yeah, you have to, you either give up on all the wing section so that you can get the 4 stars, or you dial it down, or you dial up the brightness and you overexpose that area in the center, isn't it? And you get the nice wing effect as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off. I'm trying to see if I can play with it now to get anything out, and you can almost make out that tight little cluster of stars in there. But as Matt was saying, we have lost that magnificent wing-style nebulosity for it.
And Carol, did you want to point out where this is in the night sky? It's definitely easy for once you know where to look, isn't it?
That's right. I'd love to. So we're back looking at that northwestern sky. So we've come back around from the south where the Southern Cross is. And, of course, the moon is there. And just earlier I pointed out the 3 red objects that are visible around the moon tonight, Mars, Aldebaran and Beetlejuice. And it's Beetlejuice that is one of the stars that make up the constellation of Orion. And you can see here there's that little saucepan that we've been mentioning. And in fact, if I go down to my settings here, I can turn on the lines of the constellation. So you can see here, this is the Orion constellation. And if I turn on the art for it as well, you can see Orion the Hunter. This is Greek and Roman mythology. Orion the Hunter is upside down in the Southern Hemisphere, and Beetlejuice marks his armpit, and there's the waist or the belt of Orion. So that's the bottom 3 stars of that saucepan, and then of course we've got the Sword of Orion, or the handle of the saucepan here. And I'll just turn off that art again and the lines. That you can see it much more clearly there. So there's that belt of Orion and the sword. And if we're coming back in here, as Riley mentioned, it's that middle star of the Sword of Orion. And you can see Stellarium's just making it look like looking at a picture of the Orion Nebula there. And yes, so in binoculars, you can pick up that nicely too. And often I find that when somebody's looking through a telescope at the Orion Nebula, they often think that they're also seeing the 2 stars either side, but you're not. When you're looking through a telescope at Orion, you're just seeing that one middle star, which of course it's not just one star, it's all that beautiful nebula and the young stars like the trapezium that are being born there. So a beautiful view and very easy to pick out. And now you kind of know where Orion the Hunter is in the night sky.
Yeah, it's one of those older stories because in a lot of the civilizations, as humans migrated, they always see that as a hunter. So just like the Pleiades are always seen to be 7 women, 7 daughters as well, which you can right next to Mars. I think they are near Mars right here. So the Pleiades cluster right here is, and that's a really good binocular object as well to see. That's why we're not showing it tonight, just because they can be so big, and we've got a girth of targets that we could potentially show tonight. But we'll have a look back at Riley's shot of Orion, so we can have a look again, and that looks really nice, Riley. That's a great job.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I think that we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We've gone through the targets tonight. Let's, just before we go, let's see if we can have a look at Roger's lovely night shot of that Orion area as well, because that's a nice way to end. But there's you've got the Orion just above the moon as well. No,
yeah, the moon is.
I know, but the good thing with Astrofest is that we cater for everyone, and the moon is one of those ones that the kids really love to see, and it gets them inspired as well. So, but we'll be doing another live stream in 2 weeks' time on Wednesday, and I think we've got dark sky night then as well, so we'll be able to do some really cool stuff there with some nebulas and all that kind of stuff. But thank you very much, guys, for joining us, and thank you for putting up with us while we get these teething issues out and deal with Australia's country internet as well. We've managed to get through this swimmingly well compared to what I actually thought we were going to be doing. So, but thanks, Roger, thanks, Carol, and thanks, Riley, for joining tonight. I hope this experience hasn't been too mind bending for you. too traumatic as well.
Yeah, it's been good.
All
Matt,
good, Matt. It's been a pleasure.
No worries.
I was just going to jump on.
We've sorted out. We know what errors are going to happen now. We can work them out. So if you ever guys want to punish yourselves again and come on as well, you're more than welcome to join us. But did you guys want to give a plug just before we go?
Thanks, Matt.
Of your businesses?
Matt, if I could just jump in and say that, not relating to my business, but relating to Astrofest, I feel like we've done this live stream to try to do something instead of the Astro event we had to cancel. But really, Astrofest is such a community event by so many, more than 100 volunteers and people, which are nothing to do with us, the SciTech or Curtin or ICRA or UWA or ASWA or AGWA or all sorts of different groups. And I feel like we barely scratch the surface of representing that. So I really want to make a shout out to those other groups which we haven't managed to represent in this, but we'll hopefully see them all again on the 13th of November.
Yeah. And so actually what I'll do is I'll bring up before we finish, or while we finish, I'll show you this, the slide with ICRA and